Federación Internacional de Abogadas, FIDA, was formally established in Mexico in 1944. The name translates to International Federation of Women Lawyers. In 1964, Ambassador ADUKE ALAKIJA established the Nigerian branch of the organization. FIDA Nigeria is a non-profit, non-political, voluntary association of women called to the practice of law in Nigeria. FIDA Nigeria's primary role is to protect, promote, and preserve the rights of women and children in Nigeria. FIDA Nigeria actualizes its objectives through free legal representation for indigent women and children, advocacy and policy campaigns, education and training, mediation and counseling services, and publishing information resources. FIDA Nigeria has formally inaugurated branches in 32 states of the Federation, as well as the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and overseen by the National Executive Committee and staff of the National Secretariat. The outgoing National Executive Committee was inaugurated on Tuesday, 15 December 2015 in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. These women are renowned legal professionals with wealth of experience in various aspects of litigation and human rights work, spanning well over 2 decades. As will be highlighted, the Inime Agoma-led National Executive Council was outstanding in their pursuit to fulfill the mandate of the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, through the various activities and projects they undertook in the last 3 years.
Love.
FIDA Nigeria had a glorious outing at the 36th Triennial Convention, the largest gathering of women lawyers that meets once every 3 years. The Nigerian delegation to the convention held in the Bahamas was led by the charismatic Inime Agoma. In November 2017, the country vice president and national president, Mrs. Inime Agoma, delivered the country report at the Bahamas convention as the delegation actively participated in all activities of the convention.
My name is Mrs. Inime Agoma. I am the country vice president, national president, International Federation of Women Lawyers, Nigeria. I joined FIDA in 1996. That's when I joined FIDA, and I joined FIDA Nigeria, Rivers State branch. It's been a long, beautiful, exciting journey. I joined in 1996, and I think at about 1999, I became the financial secretary of the Rivers State branch. And after 2 years, I became the secretary of the branch. And after being the secretary of the branch, I did 2 terms, and then I became the chairperson of the Rivers State branch. And in between these years, I served in various committees. And I remember clearly that at the time I was the chairman of the drafting committee of FIDA Nigeria Rivers State branch. And under my watch at that time, we had most of the gender sensitive laws that we have in the state today passed by the House of Assembly. And so I was chairperson till the year 2007 of FIDA Rivers. And later I became the national treasurer of FIDA Nigeria. And in 2015, December, I became the country vice president. One of the highlights of my tenure is the establishment of the continuing legal education program aimed at providing capacity building in terms of legal instruments and the law for FIDA members. The purpose of this training is to ensure that they give good legal services pro bono to indigent women and children. And so we thought that yes, the service is free, but it must also be quality service. And so we've had this training. The training is accredited by the Nigerian Bar Association, which already has an accredited legal education scheme. When I talk of capacity building, I'm also looking at our members understanding what our mission and objectives are. We get these complaints from time to time. In my time, I had a serious one from my own branch, and honestly it was somebody that I had given to the branch under my own supervision, and the minute she veered out of the way we handle things in FIDA, I withdrew her from the FIDA center because I realized that she didn't understand how things are done in FIDA. Our trust is to protect and promote the rights of the women and children. Then we've also increased or broadened our frontiers in terms of partnerships. We're working with Oxfam, we're working with MacArthur Foundation, we have worked with NSRP, Nigerian Stability Rehabilitation Program, and in fact for the NSRP program we worked in Yobe State, in the IDP camps, where we were afforded the opportunity to set up legal clinics to assist the women that had had violence perpetrated on them. Through the MacArthur Foundation, we have reached out to all the stakeholders. In states where it has been adopted, we are monitoring and ensuring the implementation of that law. The essence of that law basically is to ensure quick and speedy dispensation of the criminal justice system. we are keen on that law, which is the Administration of Criminal Justice Law. And then we've also been very focused on violence against persons. We've gone beyond looking at just the woman and the child. We have noted that the violence has increased. We also do not shy away when we note that it is a gender-based violence. And so we've partnered with Oxfam to see how the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act can be adopted by the states of the Federation. We've also, through all these activities, galvanized most of the state branches. Branches that were quiet before now are now, they have activities through these projects, and they are now in a better position to actually provide free legal services to the indigent and to also promote and protect their rights. FIDA Nigeria, through its branches, has been involved in several campaigns and sensitization rallies. But I would say that under my watch, under my guide, one thing that has been very prominent is our desire, and in fact, not just our desire, we have come out openly to say no to gender-based violence. We have also participated in several United Nations celebrations as it concerns women and children. We have watched the National Assembly closely and ensured that we lent our voice at critical times. And under my watch, the FIDA Nigeria office moved from where we had a rented apartment to the Court of Appeal complex in Abuja. That's where we have the FIDA Nigeria office. And as I speak, we have several program managers. We've expanded the office to run like a proper organization. We have the accounts department, we have the communications department, we have the admin department. And that is one thing my predecessor in office pleaded with me to do. She said, look, she started the institutionalization of FIDA Nigeria and that I should step up on it. And I'm proud to say that yes, by the grace of God, I fulfilled her wise request. Yeah, I would say to her that one thing or two things that she needs so much at this time is patience and maturity. She's going to be handling 33 state branches. There has to be total transparency and accountability. The organizations that we're working with are very particular about these two issues. She has to be pragmatic and always watch for the trend of things in the country. I think one of the greatest things that she must continue with is watching out for our women and children and being the voice that they do not have. I must thank all the branches that hosted meetings during my tenure. They went out of the way to ensure that the meetings were successful and that all delegates were very comfortable. It's been a wonderful time being country vice president of FIDA Nigeria. I thank all my predecessors. They set the stage, they set the foundation. And I pray that whatever I have added to their foundation will continue to grow the association. I have not done all of this on my own. I thank my family as well, my late husband, my children. I thank my sister-in-law, Justice Elsie Thompson, and their excellencies, Governor Nyesom Wike, and his lovely wife, Her Excellency Justice Eberichi Suzette Nyesom Wike. All these persons have been pillars of great support to me. Most importantly, I thank God.